It seems that the definition of what is a woman, it's something that tends to create a lot of triggers and a lot of confusion. And with all the conversations around gender identity, it seems that we keep getting more and more disconnected from the foundational elements of what being a woman is. So, in today's episode, we're going to explore what this foundation is about and how you can define womanhood for yourself. My name is Silvana. I am a course creator and the founder of the Venusian Academy, a space for the exploration of the divine feminine arts and Chakra Tantra. If you'd like to join the Academy, please check out my description box below with all of my current offerings. All right, so in order to start this conversation, we're going to separate the definition of womanhood from gender identity. In the human species, we have male and female. Gender identity, meaning the role that somebody chooses to play in their life, that's another conversation, and that's not something that we're going to be discussing in this video. So for the sake of this video, we'll stay with the natural biological differentiations between males and females. And we're doing this since this is a conversation about the definition of what is a woman. One of the reasons why we don't really have a very grounded definition of what a man or a woman is because these definitions have been given to us by others. And I have not met a lot of people that have actually contemplated that for themselves and defined that for themselves. It's usually like a responsive energy to what is giving, but there isn't much out there about an inner exploration of what this is to me. So in this episode, what we're gonna do is just do an exploration so we can begin forming that definition for ourselves, because forming those definitions helps with identities. And identities are the vehicles that move us through this life. And we can shed many identities and we can go through many identities. But at the end of the day, it's about commitment, right? Like if I understand this specific identity, I can commit to this one role. And when I let it go, I can do it in an energetically clean way. So this specific conversation is rooted in 3 definitions. What is a human? And from there, what is a man and a woman? I'm not going to pull out any dictionary definitions or scientific definitions because this is, again, an inner exploration. So my definition of a human is a sacred animal that is aware of its spiritual nature. I also see it as the physical manifestation of the soul's Shakti. And when we understand life from the perspective of we are oneness, and physical reality was created as a way for oneness to experience itself by creating that illusion of separation and division, there was also a separation of the sexes. Like the masculine and the feminine got divided. And I think this is all part of the mechanism of Maya. Because if we are oneness, we are whole, we're complete, there's nothing outside of ourselves that we need or that we desire because we're everything. But in this specific reality, in the 3-dimensional earth reality, we get to play with the concept of duality and separation, and we get to experience our own individuality by being separated from the oneness. And from this lens, we can see that man and woman united form the perfection of this physical manifestation. And instead of fighting the division, we should embrace it and explore it, because in exploring it, we get to find the gifts of the soul. So man represents the solar, the heating element, the virility, the rigidity. And woman, as a representation of the feminine, represents the lunar, the cooling, the fluid, the soft. Men came here to learn the lessons of the higher chakras, of heaven. And woman came here to embody nature, to explore the lower chakras. The union of these both lower and higher chakras, that is the perfection of the human. So obviously, like we were not born hermaphrodites with both genders within. We're in a reality where there was a separation, and we're like in this battle of the sexes, and there's all this projection that goes from one side to the other. And I think it's part of this story. It's part of the unfolding story of the earth's Shakti revealing itself to us through us. And from that perspective, I can only define what being a woman is because that's the body that I have in this particular lifetime. I cannot speak of the masculine because even though I can perceive it and observe it and I can find my own inner masculine in myself, to talk about like what being a man is will be out of place because I was giving the vessel of a woman. So from my own understanding and interpretation of my journey and everything that I've learned over the years, trying to reconciliate my own masculine and feminine nature, I understand that women are manifestations of nature, responding to the environments and the spaces that they gravitate towards or that they create in their life. Women are the communicators of the lower chakras, filtering this information and energy through the heart. So every woman defines womanhood for herself by reconciliating her animal nature with her divine nature. And we do this by seeing the divinity in the sacred animal, in the wild, in the responsive aspects of herself. A woman is a divine mirror. And from my definition of a woman being a manifestation of nature, my job in this life is to discover what is the color, the shape, and the essence of this very specific drop of nature that I am. And this is an invitation for you to do the same and define for yourself what womanhood is for you by discovering your own nature. Let the mold of the identity of woman fill itself up with the energy of your soul and share with your entire universe what embodying womanhood is to you. When you do that, you give permission to other women to do that for themselves as well. And the more of us that do this, the more of us that begin exploring, like what is this specific flavor of nature that I'm living? What is this reflective nature that I am? We can begin creating a definition that honors the sanctity, the divinity, and the sacredness of what being a woman is. Because we know in the world, there's like the history of womanhood in the world is very defeated. It feels like we have been this like helpless little animals that little by little have gotten out of their cage. And I refuse to just accept this definition of womanhood. I think this is an invitation for the modern woman to redefine that for herself by bringing in her spiritual nature with her animal nature and combining them and providing, sharing, providing information to the world of what that is. Because over time, as we begin creating more spaciousness for it, then we can actually begin creating more separation that helps us unite. You see, it's not about like dissolving all the boundaries and then we're all this like blob of everythingness. It's about being able to feel united in our differences. And this starts with that very simple separation of men and women. If we can create space for both of these identities that we carry through these human vessels, then in the future we'll be able to create space for the gender identities that are coming at the planet at this time and that have been here for a while, but now the conversation is bringing more awareness into this. But if we don't start at the basics, we're gonna get lost in all this confusion and we're gonna continue confusing the teenagers of the world and the children of the world because we don't even know how to respond that to ourselves. So I'm not saying burden yourself with the definition of the world. I'm saying explore it for yourself and share it. Be it, live it. And that way you will give permission and you will create spaces for other people to do the same. And then in this way, at some point in the future, we might be able to define what is a woman. And if you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.